Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCal Saber. Thanks for stopping by. And this is the weekly Saturday show for the first time on this new channel where I talk about the albums and the CDs that I listened to this week. I did ask you a question on the thumbnail. We'll get to that in a little bit. So we're going to get started. But before we do, please go down there and hit that like button. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, so please do so yet. Tell your friends about this channel so we can get some growth going on it now. So anyway, here we go. Let's get the Bill phone silenced. Those of you new to the channel know I normally have this ring every time we do a thing. All right. Well, I started off the week with a 1973 LP. When I was down in Temecula last month with my son and we were doing record hunting, I came across two albums by Grace Slick that I had never run across before. So I picked them back up. I picked them both up. Here's the first one. And this is called Manhole. It's the only solo album I have so far by Grace. Even David Crosby even sang on one of the songs. She had some help from her friends on this one here. Paul Gantner from Jefferson Airplane sang a couple duets with her. Most of side one is a soundtrack from the movie Manhole, which I believe was a fictitious movie. Anyway, and other songs were from various styles. After completing the tour that Jefferson Airplane went on for Long John Silver, there was a hiatus, and three of the members, or Grace decided, three of the members, they did another album, which I'll get to at another time. Grace decided to embark on her solo efforts, and this was it. Okay, and this would also part of the contract with Grunt Records, RCA Grunt Records for Jefferson Airplane was a solo album by her. So this filled the bill for that part of the contract. All right, let's see what we got here. My notes. All the members who would form Jefferson Airplane, all of the members that formed Jefferson Airplane 1974 performed on the album except for Papa John Creech. Okay, along with guest stars David Crosby, Gary Duncan, Jack Cassidy, and a few others. The album was conceived as a soundtrack to the Imaginary movie, noted in the title. Okay. This album was commercially underperformed, reaching 127 on the Billboard charts, the worst showing any airplane-related release since the 1966 debut. I can only give it a personal fare, mainly because it's not all Grace. Her voice is still great. I still love that voice, but too many members, because there was too many members in the group on it. So it came with an inner. And I'll show you the label. Grunt. Got this at Swindles, I believe was the name of the place in Temecula. No, it wasn't. It was the other one. I can't remember the name of it right now. But anyway, there's two of them in Temecula we went to that day. And as you can see, it's in really good shape. It played very, very well. And it's a nice addition to the collection. I don't know if it'll ever get any replay because I only rated it fair, but time will tell. So that was Manhole, the debut solo album by Grace Slick in 1973. Let me know what you think about Grace Slick. You guys know she's a big one, big hit on my ring. Arguably one of my favorite female singers of all time. Okay, so now we were moving on. This was another one I picked up. This one I did pick up at Swindles. It had been on my want list for a while, but I just had never run across to it in halfway decent shape. And it was a 1981 reissue of a 1971 album by The Who and it was Who's Next? I have 4 LPs and 2 CDs and a 4 CD box set in the collection from The Who. So that must mean I like them, huh? Yeah, check out the back of the album. We got some ring wear going there, but that's a black album. It has a lot on the black. This was the 5th studio album by the English rock band. And I thought it was a really good album. I had some popping on track 1, but that was the only place I had any popping, so I'm going to do another spin clean with this one. I don't know if I held it up there long enough for you to be able to see the tracks. Other than that first popping, it played VG Plus all the way across. 8 of the 9 songs on Who's Next were from Lighthouse, with the one exception being John Entwistle's penned My Wife. Lighthouse was a rock opera that Pete and them were putting together after, well, Bill, your memory's going today. Tommy. Okay. And so they gave up on it because I guess the material was too hard for people to learn or something to that effect. The lead single on the album, Won't Get Fooled Again, was released ahead of the album in June 1971 in the UK and July in the US. It reached number 9 and number 15 on the charts, respectively. The album was released on 2 August in the US and 27 August in the UK. It became the only album by The Who to top the UK charts. And this is a good album. I've heard a lot of people say that it might have been their best album, but I'm not going to rate it there because I can't remember. I don't have all their albums, so I can't really do a rating like that. Is it the best in my collection? I would have to go back and look at my collection to see that. But anyway, that was my second one of the week. Who's Next by The Who, a 1981 reissue of the 71 album. Okay, we're moving right along here. Next one I did was I wanted to get a while back ago, I remember I told you I had picked up some soundtracks. So I wanted to get the 3rd soundtrack that I had picked up at that $10 great price sealed. And as you can see, this was a Walmart exclusive, red and white. I took the hype sticker off of the original because I had to tear the shrink, put it on here. And this is the 2019 album, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Deluxe Edition. It includes classic 1970 songs from the movie like Blue Suede, Hooked on the Feeling, David Bowie's Moon Dream, 10cc's I'm Not in Love, the Jackson 5, I Want You, Redbone. Anyway, I'll show you the back here, you can see. And then on the second disc is the musical score by Tyler Bates. Let's see, so you can see the soundtracks. What do I think about it? I'm going to say, it played great, but I'm going to say, maybe fair plus to good. I would have liked to had more of the. As you can see, we got the yellow one here. It is a gatefold, so I'll show you that in a second. Now I'm going to give album A The album with all of the there. I'm going to give that a G plus, and I'm only going to give fair plus to the scores because I'm not a particular fan of scores. Yes, I have some in my collection, but they come along for other reasons. Like this is a soundtrack. The reason for this one. So, and here is the album's going flying here. All right, and here's the red one. This comes a red and yellow. Okay, it's in the collection. All three of those soundtracks that I picked up on that day for $10 each, brand new, are in the collection. For those of you who haven't watched before how this goes, I have a queue of things that I have picked up that get cleaned and they're waiting to get played. And once they're played, then they're entered into my collection. Until that point in time, they're not in my collection. Okay, so the next one I got is I've showed it to you before. It's Frontiers by Journey. Okay, it was a 1983 album and it's very, very good. I really liked it. But it turned out to be my second copy that I've mistakenly picked up. Sometimes that happens when I'm on Whatnot, when the auction goes so fast I don't even have a chance to check the database to see what I got. So anyway, it's really good. My son in Temecula is going to be really happy because he's going to get the copy. It's in very good shape, and he's a big, big Journey fan. I don't believe he has this one. If he does, I'll take it back. Okay. So that was Frontiers by Journey, 1983. I had forgot. I don't have it handy to show you because I had put it in a place because I'm going to be seeing my son within the next week, and I didn't want to forget it. Okay. All right, it's time for some CD action for the week. We always have 2 CDs every week out of the collections. The first one is number 130. This one's for you, by Neil Young and the Blue Notes, 1988 album. When I was checking, I'm like, oh wow, I have 4 LPs and 16 CDs in the collection by Neil Young. That must mean I like him a lot more than I thought I did when I started playing this. Well, anyway, this was the 18th studio album by the Canadian American. And part of the album concept centered on the commercialism of rock and roll and tours in particular. The title track specifically is a hostile social commentary on concert sponsorship. Music overall is a little bit different than what Neil is marked by a horn section, which is kind of nice. I really liked this album a lot, especially the first 2 songs. I'll show you those tracks here in a second. The first 2 songs, which This Note's for You and 10 Man Working. And I'll show you the back so you can see the tracks that are on it. After this, in the early ones, like this release, it has Blue Notes on it, but there was some legal action taken by somebody, I forget what his name is now, and the word Blue Notes had to be removed. So then future re-releases, it just became a Neil Young solo album. And the band that he was calling the Blue Notes at the time was renamed to 10 Men Working. So that's the history of all of that, if you were interested in it. And here's the and you all know I pick 2 things each week what I like the best. It's going to be hard not to pick this one here, but we'll see when it's over because I haven't picked them yet. So that was This One's for You by Neil Young and the Blue Notes from 1988. Excuse me. The next one is CD number 131. Now, this is the question I asked you on the thumbnail. It is Magic and Lost by Lou Reed. This is the only thing I have in my collection by Lou Reed. I don't have the foggiest idea why I bought them. It's very, very popular, but it's the only thing I have in my collection. Uh, and it's the 16th solo studio album by him. So even when I got this, I was way, way behind. I don't know why I picked it. Uh, it charted top 20 in 10 different charts. It's a concept album. It was Reed's highest charting album on the UK charts, peaking at number 6. Magic and Lost was originally intended to be primarily about themes of magic. After hearing stories about musicians and magicians in Mexico. However, when tragedy struck during the writing process, Reed expanded the album's focus to themes of loss and death as well, inspired in part by the illness and eventual deaths of 2 close friends. Now the hit song, there was a hit song, was a big hit on one. The big hit was, look at the back again, was What's Good. And I like that one, okay? And I like some of the other stuff. But I can only give it good. I can't go any higher than good, because even though I like Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath and all of those type of things, and that, this talking about cancer and the deaths, were just a few too many songs on here about that for my taste. Do I like Lou Reed? I have to say, I like Lou Reed. Sony based on this is the only thing I got. Why? So he had 16 albums out. He's well liked around the country. And so, I don't know. Why is that? Okay, so the last thing we do each week, now that we finish the CDs, is we pick out the next album that's already in the collection from years ago in numerical order. And this week here is number 78. And it is a 1977 album by Lou Rawls, titled When You Hear Lou, You've Heard It All. This is the only thing I have by Lou Rawls in my collection. The album was good and I liked it, but maybe at that time I wasn't too much into soul. I was into disco, and this has a little bit of disco type on it. It's a 1977 album by the American R&B singer. Those were the hits. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard that number 1 release, Lady Love. That's probably why I bought it. I was probably having some sort of a crush on somebody at the time. Who knows? I was in Europe. If I bought it in Europe, I must have bought it in the BX. Here's the inner. The title of the album played on a Budweiser logo, Budweiser statement. It used to say, when they used to say, when you say Budweiser, you've said it all. Reason they allowed him to use a game plan as Budweiser was a sponsor of a lot of his shows. It's in very, very good shape. So we're gonna I gave it BG plus on both the album and the vinyl. All right, so here's where I'm gonna go back and pick the 2 that I liked the most, or I had the most fun with. I like them all, but I can only pick 2. And I'm not going to pick Frontiers because I believe I picked them before. So the first one I cannot pass on Who's Next by The Who, the 1981 reissue I have of the 71 album. What a good album that is. I got to pick that one. All right. Then we're going to go down. I passed on Frontiers, I said. And I'm going to have to say that the second one I picked for this week is This Note's for You by Neil Young and the Blues Breakers. Blue Notes, not Blues Breakers, that's John Mayall. Blue Notes. So, did you like either one of them? Do you have any of these? Which ones, if you do, which ones would you picked this week if you were making the choices? Let me know. Put it down in the remarks, and I'll get back. I love to hear from you, and I will get back with you. So this is SoCal Saber saying thank you very much for stopping by. Take care of yourselves out there. Be kind to each other. Stay safe.